Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and you're on the mic. So, on today's episode, I'm going to now disclaimer here. I did say that I was not going to cover as much kickback, and that is true. I'm not going to cover every little, twit fight because it's just kind of stupid to do so. I will still, however, be covering stuff of more significance involving like their tactics, their approach, and all that. And today we're going to hit upon something that came out over the past week here that has gotten talked a lot about, you know, covered previously, of course, by Hero Hay, SG Sammy, Come Geek Some, and more recently DNA Crows. So back on New Year's Eve. Now, again, we're not sure if it was actually done on New Year's Eve or it was just simply released. It could have been both on New Year's Eve. But there was a podcast done by a site known as the Violet Wanderers, in which they had on there um, three of three of Kick Vickers, the three Kick Vickers, L.J. Montello, Remfamous, and Mars Girl. Um, in which they, of course, talked about what their plans for 2020 were. And of course, as has been revealed through those, their intent is to put pressure on cons to either disinvite him or not invite him at all, particularly attacking the smaller cons. And yes, it is an attack. On this podcast, they sat there and they talked about how they were going to try to pressure cons to not invite Vic, to try to keep him away from conventions. They talked about how they were going to go as far as basically lying about by saying that he has a documented history of which has basically been proven false. There's never been any police reports, nothing like that. But they were encouraging their listeners of the podcast to contact their conventions and basically tell them that they were originally planning on going, but now are not because he is going to be there. Um, you know, um, I certainly do hope that Ty and An Lee and Michael have this stuff archived because this is definitely a clear case of TI and civil conspiracy. They are sitting there conspiring. They are outright conspiring on a podcast to not just continue to defame a man, but try to interfere with his businesses, try to interfere with cons that invite him. This is clear evidence right there of that. I'm hoping that, as I said, I'm hoping that Ty and An Lee and Michael have kept, because yeah, okay, would it really be a financial gain for Vic to sue these three? Probably not. They're not like big money people. In fact, everybody's talked about how Mars Girl um, has is pretty much broke. But it's not really about the money. It's about the damage that they're doing. It's about saying that this behavior will not be tolerated. You can't do this. This is wrong. And let's clear up another little fact. Yes, the judge did dismiss these all 17 claims, and they did get quote unquote a victory. Okay? But the one thing they seem to either want to ignore or forget is that Vic is appealing. He's appealing the decision. And there is a chance, whether you want to argue about how strong a chance, but there's a chance that the appeals court will overrule Judge Up on on any, if not all, 17 accounts, and then everybody gets dragged back into court. I think even if anybody's watched Nick Rekieta's streams the last couple of nights, or Friday and Saturday night, or if you saw Hero Hayes stream when he read through the fee hearing, he also did a TLDR video of that. Um, I think the judge is finally even catching on to what Lemoyne and the rest of them are doing, because he gave them much less than they were asking. You know, so just goes to show you that as the more these people and the funny thing is, and I checked this earlier today. Now on Hero Hayes' last video, he said that Vic, and up to that point, Vic had only been invited to 2 cons, and now it's up to 3 because I checked it earlier. Vic is invited to 3 cons. Okay, so I just I just double checked. Okay, so as of Hero Hayes' last video, Vic had been invited to 2 cons, and Monica and Jamie had been invited to one, and it was the same con, from what I understand. I guess it was Comic Con Liverpool. I just checked. Vic is invited now. Currently, Vic is now invited to 3 cons in 2020. Jamie is invited to 3 cons in 2020, and Monica invited to two. Hero Hay was saying that they were invite. They were the cons that they were invited to were the same ones. That is the case in one Liverpool, the Liverpool con. They're both invited to, and they both were invited to a Galaxy Con, but Jamie Galaxy Con in Raleigh, Monica's Galaxy Con in Richmond. Um, so yeah, so Vic is invited to 3, and also from what I heard, he's got an event coming up this Saturday in Bell, California. So um, so yeah, so you guys might want to go check that out. Let me see. So with that, basically, but back to my initial point here. So we have clear evidence from this podcast that these 3 women, LJ Montello, um, Renfamous, and Mars Girl, as well as the host of this podcast, The Violet Wanderers. This is clear evidence of T.I. and Civil Conspiracy, and I do hope that Ty, Onley, and Michael have archived this. I hope that Hero Hay was able to send them a copy of this podcast to where they have it on record. Because yeah, even if Vic doesn't get any money out of them, it's the principle of the thing. You can't be doing this to people. You can't be trying to convict them. You can't be interfering with. Okay, you don't like them, fine. Don't go to the con then, but don't try to keep others from doing it. That's just wrong. You know, there's no evidence whatsoever that Vic has done anything. Like everything that everybody has put out there has been disproven, has been proven false. So, um, so with that being said, now let's get on to some happier stuff because that's all really needs to be said about that. basically that podcast is clear evidence of Ti and civil conspiracy, and I do hope that Ty and Vic's legal team have that archived so they can go after these three women. So, so with that being said, let's go look at this day and let's go look at this day in Nietzsche history. So first off, on this date in 19, let me see, let me double check that. 1950. On this date in 1950, DC Comics, among many of their other titles, released um, the 10th issues of Dale Evans Comics, which is a comic that features Dale Evans, wife of Gene Autry, famous cowgirl movie star, and many of her adventures are covered in our comics, as well as the 10th issue of Squibbly from his feature in All American Comics. So on this date in 1950, DC would release Dale Evans comic, the 10th issue of Dale Evans comics, and the 10th issue of Squibbly. So moving on. On this date in 1970, the luchador Dos Caras, translates two faces in Spanish, the brother of legendary luchador Mil Mascaras, as well as the father of you know of Alberto Del Rio, as most of you know him as from his time in the WWE, the father of Alberto Del Rio, as well the brother of Mil Mascaras, made his debut on this date in 1970. On this date in 1970, Dos Caras, the brother of legendary luchador Mil Mascaras, as well as the father of Alberto Del Rio, made his debut on this date in 1970. On this date in 1995, SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron, would finish its first run on this date in 1995. SWAT Cats, the Radical Squadron, would finish its first run on this date in 1995. And on this date in 1997, um, the second season of the anime adaptation Bakutsu Kyodai Let's Go made its debut on TV Tokyo on this date in 1997. The second season of Bakutsu Kyodai Let's Go, the season titled Bakutsu Kyodai Let's Go WGP, would make its debut on the second season anime adaptation would make its debut on TV Tokyo on this date in 1997. So there you go. There are the things that happened on this date in anime in niche culture history. So with all that being said, um, as always, guys, you can check the links below if you want to contact me directly. You can DM me on my Discord. Check out the Discord. Join if you'd like. As you also know, I'm promoting a bunch of different dub companies. Because as always, Funimation's not the only game in town. A lot of other dub companies do a lot of good work as well. You guys can check that stuff out. I'm also still promoting, Vic's GoFundMe as well as the Ortiz family GoFundMe. Guys might want to check those out. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you have the means to, it's on your heart to do so, please consider donating. If not, um, or if you have donated before, please consider donating again. And and if you cannot donate, you can still help out by sharing the link, because sharing is caring. And you never know; it doesn't hurt to ask. You know, there's always a possibility that you may have somebody in your circle of friends who might see it and say, "Yeah, you know, Vic's getting the short end of the stick. Maybe I want to help out." Or in the Ortiz family case, their home haven't been destroyed by the storm. And the reason, and I want to bring this up too, because last couple of times I've checked on the Ortiz family GoFundMe. I noticed it's still been stuck at 4,595. Their goal for the GoFundMe is 5,000, and I noticed it's been stuck on just shy of 4,600 um, for a while now. So if you haven't taken a look at that GoFundMe, or haven't considered that as of yet, you might want to at least take a look at it, see if you feel you can help out. It doesn't, as I said, it doesn't hurt to ask. I just felt like, you know, because having a house destroyed like that in a storm, obviously that can be very stressful, and they could always use the help. So at least take a look at it. You can decide for yourself. No pressure. And if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Um, and hit the notification bell for um, for updates. As you guys know, I do these videos, these on the mic videos every day. I always look forward to the conversation. As long as it's civil and respectful, I usually will reply back to you if I feel there's something I can say to add to the conversation. I always look forward to the conversations. Um, and with all that being said, I hope you guys will enjoy the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.